All right, so we begin the session now. Okay. Our next session is on digital payment transformation, the future of money. As probably all of us had some point of time used the digital payment methods which are so prevalent now. This keeps evolving into newer ways of payment. And today we have a very senior technology leader with us. He's a part of Tietoevry and heads the product engineering payments in the Tietoevry fintech sector. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sathish Padmanathan.
I'm very glad to be here again this year, talking about a topic which is very close to my heart. One of my managers used to say, payment is one such very important thing in life. I hope we all would agree that. And I'm going to talk about the past, present, and more importantly, the future of payments and how payments has transformed over the years across the world, and most importantly, in India. So I don't want to introduce myself. I'm Sathish, part of Tietoevry Banking. We are a fintech with solutions for anyone which wants to start a bank. So we offer A to Z for the bank. I'll not talk more about the company, but let's directly go into the topic, benefit of time. No, it's okay. I can manage. Yeah, thank you. So here's how the agenda looks like. I'm sure it's going to be quite packed. I'm going to introduce evolution of money. It's always good to start with the basics. How money is created, how money is used, and so on. Followed by, we will talk about the India story. Something that we all can be proud about is what has happened in India the last 10 years. So we'll talk a bit about the India transformation story. And followed by, we'll also talk about, the world of payments. What's happening in payments around the world? What are the challenges, opportunities we have as a fintech industry, and so on. And then we will also touch a very important point, central bank digital currency, and what's happening around the world with some focus on India. And then we'll also have some time for Q&A. This is a packed session. I'll try to be very short. I may have to skip some of the topics, benefit of time. So I'll directly go into the topic, before which I want to kind of take a survey, right? I mean, raise your hands if one of us, or, when have you used the checkbook, a check leaf in the last 6 months? How many? Yeah, not many. So surely we are in a digital India, yeah? But this is not exactly the response I got. When I was talking in the US, when I was talking in the Europe, people still use checkbooks, yeah? Because checkbook is very essential part of banking in rest of the world, most of the world. I mean, I would kind of, in a way, exclude the Northern Europe, which is, very advanced in banking, very much digitalized. But if you look at countries like the UK, the US, Canada, where checkbooks are very much part of everyday banking, right? So good. I mean, we are doing well in India. Let me go on to the topic, how money has evolved and how we have started, or how we have paid over the years. So back in the days, before there was any official currency, there was a barter system where you kind of exchange goods. For example, even I come from a village in Tamil Nadu. Even in my village today, you kind of give 1 bag of groundnut and you get 4 bags of rice, right? I mean, that system is still existing in many parts of the country. Understandably, the value is actually not set. It could differ from, different countries and different geographies. So, the value is questionable and the stability is also questionable, yeah? And then, there is public money, which is more like, you have precious metals like gold, which is global. The rate of gold is actually determined by your trade, how it is traded in the market and so on. The value is good, the stability is also good, unless something, really worse happens that kind of puts down the value of gold, yeah? And then you have real money, which is what is issued by the central banks, printed as currencies and minted as coins, which has stability, and the value is also controlled by a monetary system, which we all can trust on. And now, there is also a new form of money that is coming in, which is the digital currencies. There are different types of digital currencies. I'll kind of cover the topic a bit later. It's the central bank issued digital currencies, like we have the e-rupee in India. Also, the bitcoins and so on, where the central bank issued digital currencies have a good value. They're stable because it's controlled by the monetary system. But, the likes of bitcoins and stable coins, you can say some of them are stable, but the value fluctuates very much depending on how it is perceived in the market. So just all of us understand the basics of money and how it is different from different forms of money. Yeah. If I go to also another topic which kind of talks about what are the characteristics of money. Yeah, I mean, of course, one, you need stability. The money or cash you have should be differentiated. For example, every currency note has a unique number which kind of shows it out. That's also determines the value and stability of the currency, right? So that's very important. It should be easily portable. I mean, something that you use it widely. For example, a currency like US dollar, you can almost use that in every country except for countries which have sanctioned on US dollar, right? And if you look at a digital form of a currency, I mean, it should be able to move from one wallet to another wallet if it's a digital currency, or if it's a money sitting in the bank, you should be able to. There should be a transactional ability that you should be able to move that money or funds from one account to another account, right? That's also very important, yeah. And the most important thing from a consumer point of view is money. The main and most important characteristics of money is something that they should be able to transact it without any problem, and also without any surcharge, right? I mean, you should not be charged for transactions. I mean, in India, we kind of don't really have that, right? Where banking is obviously free because banks earn, in the form of interest and lending and so on. But it's not in the West. For example, every transaction would actually have a price on it. For example, if I have to make a transaction from my account to another account, there's a price tag put on that particular transaction. That's still acceptable because that's how the countries operate. Yeah. Yeah, that's briefly the characteristics of money. Now, let's understand how money is actually made. Yeah, so there are two different forms in which money is made. One, the central bank, for example, the Reserve Bank of India mints coins and prints currency that's kind of circulated into the ecosystem. That's one way of money being moved into the ecosystem. The second way is actually through commercial banks. Commercial banks actually push in the money through lending. For example, the data says it's only 3% of the money in circulation actually is printed and minted by the central bank. 97% of it actually comes from the commercial banks in forms of lending and so on. But we've also seen that during COVID, the government also has to infuse stimulus, and that kind of brings in a bit more money into the market, and that you would see. It's not very usual. That happens, when there is a need. Yeah. So the basics of money, of how money is actually created: one, printed and minted by the central bank, comes into the circulation, and then it's the commercial banks that lends that money from or borrows the money from the central bank by putting a claim on their Reserve Bank account, and lends it out to consumers and corporates like us, yeah? And then they earn back in terms of interest payments. So that's how the money cycle is complete, yeah? So I'll not go into the details, benefit of time. So what's very important to know is not all the money are same, right? I mean, you will understand that when I probably go into the next picture, where you have 5 very different types of money. One is something which is coming from the central bank, where the claim is on the central bank. The central bank guarantees that you can use this currency, you can use this coin, and there is a stable value for that particular currency or a coin. And then the second type of money comes from the commercial banks, like the SBIs and the ICICI banks, which kind of, holds the money in their account, yeah? And the commercial bank guarantees the money we have deposited into their account. So that's the second. Third is what is called as e-money, and in the Europe and North America, there's a concept called as EMI, e-money institution, where the companies like PayPal have license to hold money on behalf of the customer. So you can equate that with the likes of Paytm and so on, but Paytm is slightly different. The money is still actually with a commercial bank, which is linked to a UPI account, right? So that's the third type of money. Very important to know what is not money, right? The stable coins. Cryptocurrencies are not money because that's not regulated. Okay, we can claim that it's regulated in some markets, but the value of that is not stable, and it can change at any time, depending on the trade, depending on geopolitical situation and so on. So very important to know what is money and what is not money, and the difference between central bank money, commercial bank money, and the EMIs, yeah? So I want to kind of take another poll. The last time we were in a shop trying to buy, how many of us paid by cash? Not many, yeah, just one. That's very good. How many of us used a debit card or a credit card? Yeah, that's good. And how many of us used a wallet like a Paytm or a PhonePe? Yeah, almost entire room, that's kind of accepted. So the reason I wanted to take this poll is consumer and the merchant behavior has changed a lot. I want to back this up with an example that I kind of faced myself. So I wanted to buy an adapter for my Mac, right? So I kind of purchased it on a famous shopping portal I don't want to name, right? I mean, I used my Amex credit card, yeah? The adapter was delivered to me 12 hours from the time I placed my order, yeah? So the money was deducted from my card, right? I mean, it goes to the acquirer, which is Amex. And then, you see, transaction plus 12 hours, the product was delivered, yeah? Transaction plus 4 days, the acquirer took to pay the marketplace, in this case, the shopping portal. And then, transaction plus 5 days is the marketplace initiate a payout to the merchant, which has actually sold the charger to me, right? And then transaction plus 8 days is when the merchant gets the money for actually a good that he has sold on a marketplace. You see the complexity, yeah? The ecosystem involved, it's like the acquirer, probably an issuer, if I didn't use my Amex card, and then the transaction time needed from each of the levels takes a lot of time. If I were a merchant, I don't want to be kind of waiting for 8 days, waiting for the money for a product that I've sold somewhere, and then spending like 2 or 2.5% in interchange fees, because a platform like Amex or MasterCard and Visa does earn money using interchange fees. So now, what has happened globally and even more in India because of things like UPI is even e-commerce portals have an option to pay from your account, and it's made even easier with things like UPI, PhonePays, Google Pays, and the Paytms, right? I mean, that's exactly what the survey says. This is a global survey. I mean, this does not include India, so you see a very different picture here. So about 69% of people don't think of switching from card-based payments, right? While a good amount of people are actually using alternate payment rails like 9% account-to-account apps, 9% bank transfers, 11% using banking app, and again, 9% using wallets, yeah? The drive behind this consumer change is the merchants. They don't want to be kind of spending a lot of money on interchange. They don't want to be waiting for 8 days to get the money for a product that they have sold. But also the ease of transacting that the super apps like Paytms and the Google Pays bring in today, right? So if we kind of include the India picture, this picture would completely change, but there was no official data for me to use, that as survey in India. So I kind of used a report from Accenture, which kind of gives a global view of how consumer behavior has changed. Clearly, there is an indication of moving away from credit card-based payments to more alternate rails, could be wallets, could be account-to-account payments. And in India, it's understandably the UPI, yeah? So this also shows a bit of how consumers pay in different parts of the world. In India, of course, we love Google Pays and Paytm so much. 71% of that is done by Google Pay. This is slightly older survey. I'm sure when we have 2023 survey out, it will have a very different indication. You see, US still has like 35%, PayPal, Apple Pay 12%. And then, cash and card still kind of stands out in US. I'm not going into the details quickly. We'll go through. This picture also shows the countries and how cash is used. While Norway is the one which uses very little cash, it's just 3% of the total transaction happening in Norway is through cash. But cash is still king in India, but this is changing. This was very different when I was presenting last year, and it is very different today. When you look at the transactions done in point of sale, it's 71% of cash transaction was done in 2019 versus 27% in 2022. That shows the real transformation from cash to online payment rails in India. Yeah. Now I'm coming to a very interesting topic, the payment transformation story in India, right? I mean, payment is something that we all can be very proud of whenever we go out, For example, I was in London a few months ago, and I was trying to pay in a coffee shop with my card. And I asked him, okay, can you use a contactless? He said, no. I mean, we're not India, we're UK. I was like struck. English person in the shop making the statement, we are not India, we are UK, because he doesn't have a contactless machine. I still have to put my card into the machine and key in my PIN. So the world recognizes the transformation that we have done in India, from the way how we pay, the way how we transact, yeah? So I don't want to go into the complete journey benefit of time, but you see the most important milestones is 2010, when we launched the instant payment system in India, the second in the world to have an instant payment system after Japan. Of course, China did have their instant payment in the same year. So yeah, we had instant payment well ahead of the advanced economies in the world. For example, US just had an instant payment a few years ago, and central bank provided instant payment was just launched this year in July 2023. That's Fed now. Yeah. So UPI was a game changer with the launch of UPI in 2016. It was upgraded to UPI 2.0 in 2018, where we had more features. But 2023 is also very interesting, where UPI launched new products like you can actually, it's more like the Iron Man and Jarvis. I mean, I have my phone and I'm going to say, hello UPI, can you pay to X person 100 rupees, and it's happening. So that was just brilliant. I mean, I have not seen this kind of an innovation in a larger scale in other countries, right? And then there's also another thing which I noticed myself. I was actually in my village, during Diwali, and I wanted to go and have a tender coconut. The person did not have change for the cash I gave him. He did not have a smartphone, but he had a sticker on his feature phone with a QR code, right? And that's UPI. You can transact even when you don't have a feature phone. You can receive money and you can get acknowledgement even when you don't have a feature phone. So he had a feature phone, a Nokia phone, and a sticker of QR code behind it, and he had a sound box telling him that, okay, he has got money for the goods or product that I purchased. So some two very important advancements in UPI 2023. We all have to be very proud of what the guys in NPCI are doing for us and for the rest of the world. Yeah. So I'll skip some of this we already know, so I'll not go into the details. But something that worth mentioning is the introduction of UPI also changed the way people banked in India. So, for example, the payments bank is a very key thing that happened. So where the postmen and women started to become bankers. So my grandmother received a pension through a postmaster coming to my home and taking her fingerprints and giving her the money in her hand, right? So it was very interesting to see postmen which were delivering post were actually becoming bankers, actually collecting cash for deposits, giving you cash as withdrawal. You don't have to really go into a bank or a post office to bank, yeah? So I think the payments banks also have its own challenges, and the commercial model has to be improved so that they have more value and they make more good business with what they have invested, yeah? So the world of payments, I'm here going to talk about a bit of complexity and challenges the rest of the world faces. I mean, including even in India, we still have challenges in payments, yeah, but I'll keep it very brief. So this picture actually shows India stack dominates the world of payments with the kind of instant payments, the kind of biometric-based payments, your wallets, no other country has an equal playing field for wallets. For example, UK, UK is different, but US, PayPal, really is a monopoly, right? I mean, they don't have an equal player in the market because the monetary system doesn't allow an ecosystem or an equal playing field for the players, right? So I think in India with UPI, there is an equal playing field for fintechs and wallets, yeah? I'll also skip through because I just have a few more seconds. I'll directly go into the digital currency. So India launched the digital currency as a pilot in 2022. And I was very fortunate to be one of the pilot users. This is actually from my digital currency wallet. And I made my first transaction in Mumbai a few months ago where the person didn't have UPI, but I was very surprised he had a digital currency, which kind of allowed me to transact. I'll quickly summarize in probably 2 seconds. So I think the year 2023 has been really the world year of payments. I mean, a lot of changes happening all over the world, and India played a crucial role with the industry sitting here and helping the rest of the world to be compliant, with ISO 20022 migration and so on. But what's very important for us as industry is there's much more to do in payments, right? The ISO 20022 creates opportunity for us to innovate. So we just don't want to be testing and developing the changes, but we can also be an incubator where real innovation happens with our experience of UPI and the likes. With this, I wanted to thank NASSCOM for giving me an opportunity and for all of you listening to me. Thank you.
Keep the claps going, guys. Well, I love his enthusiasm. It's not his first time that I heard him speak, and every time he's as energized. So let's have a round of applause for him, guys. A loud one. Match his energies there.